Hey, I'm Janelle. Welcome to the Inspiring It TV channel. This is a long overdue video. I'm going to be sharing the birth story of our beautiful baby girl, Rio. She is currently about 8 months or 8.5 months. So I think it's just a testament of how busy our year has been that I haven't recorded this any sooner. And I possibly was kind of stuck on the idea of sharing the birth story for other reasons, I guess, like one of which was that friends of ours experienced pretty, well, I mean, they're all, I don't know how to say it. Friends of ours have also experienced losses, and like it felt wrong to share how well our birth story went. And I guess just made me sad to, I guess I've thought about them every day. And for every beautiful moment that I've had with Rio, who you can hear in the background, I've also been I guess in my mind as well, have been thinking of my friends and what they've experienced and losing their children. And I wish that things were different, and I wish that they were here too, and that we were going through this together. And I guess partly that has made me hold off wanting to share. But we shared Navy's birth story, and I love looking back on that, and I love when other parents have talked to me about watching that video. So I really wanted to share Rio's story as well, and I also think it's important to share positive birth stories, and this one was definitely a beautiful, positive story, and I think it's going to be cool to be able to share some footage that we shot with you and some photos this time around, because we were able to get a bit of that. How did I feel post-birth on a psychological level? Really good. So excited. And also, I think so many emotions came up for me. So I gave birth to her, and I was just in shock, and I was so happy, and she was so healthy, and it was just so beautiful and exciting. And then also, I guess I felt this wave of relief of all of the things that I had been holding in. Basically had a moment where I just started crying, and I couldn't stop crying because it was just unbelievable that, hi Rio, she's smiling at me. It was just unbelievable that she was here, and because we'd experienced losses throughout the time between Navy and having Rio, here she is, hi. Because we'd experienced the losses between, I think I was just nervous and anxious throughout the pregnancy, and even though we were having these scans that were saying everything was really good, once she was actually here, it was a real wave of relief, and I just cried. And I think I cried because it was the last birth, and we weren't going to have to go through the whole process of pregnancy again, and it just was a big wave of relief, but also just feeling really excited that you were here. And you are just so joyful and so smiley and happy, and it's great. Welcoming back, Mario. I don't think we've had you on any of my videos in a long time. But I was just saying how when we did Navy's birth story, we've had even still friends come up and say that they've watched it, and people that we don't really know will say that they watched it. And we wanted to do this together. So my first one was just the question that I had from last time. I'm just answering the same ones. And next question is, does she have blue eyes like you? No, she does not. Your eyes are kind of golden. What would you say her eye color is? Yours is brown, and hers is, I don't know if it's still changing, but it's not blue.
Pretty much brown.
You reckon? It's grey around the outside, so I guess that's hazel. It's grey around the outside, as a ring, and then they're kind of a yellowy, brownish green in the middle. but they're very light. So different to your sister. Your sister has very blue eyes. You're just so happy and smiley. Yay, we've just learnt clapping. Oh, good job, Rio. Next question. Will you still want another baby after this one? What would you do differently?
But we're not having another baby.
No.
She's too old.
No. Oh, thanks. That was a bit harsh, but yeah, I guess that's true.
Both too old.
You're both too old? We're both too old. Oh. Yeah, no. And I feel a bit sad about that because we are like getting rid of things at the moment. Like we have to list our old baby bassinet and all that to sell. And it is like, part of me is like, oh. I would go through like that last week of pregnancy just so that I could be like having a baby again. But I don't want to be pregnant for 9 months again. No, it's too stressful. I mean, it's more the anxiety of like, is it going to work out? That's the part that I don't want. And also like feeling uncomfortable and all of that. I mean, it's temporary, but like, no, this is it. And then I feel so sad because I'm like, there's another baby out there waiting for us. And, you know, yeah. We never got to use the name Raphael, which we both had separately wanted if we had a boy. And came together and we're like, oh my gosh, that's the name I wanted. So we didn't get to use Raphael. Oh, and this was related to the birth of Navy being at home. What was the circumstances for her to be caused to be born at home? So we're very happy to say that Rio was not born at home. Woohoo! Good job. High five.
She got scared.
High five? Oh, no. Yeah. Yay! High five! We got one. Yeah, clap. You're just knocking out all the skills at the moment. Good job, Rio. Rio was born at the family birth centre. Yeah. Very happy to tell you that unlike Navy, which you can go back and watch Navy's birth story to understand what we're talking about, Navy was accidentally born at home and it was a very intense circumstance and we did not want to repeat that at all. And this time around, Rio, it was like getting to the 41-week mark. And in the morning, I was supposed to go to the hospital attached to the family birth centre and have meetings with them in case she didn't show, like we didn't have any signs that she was coming. And like basically they'll allow you to almost go up to 42 weeks at the family birth centre. And over that, you have to go into the hospital and then they go into like procedures and talk about all of that stuff with interventions, which we did not want. We were wanting to avoid that. So I think Navy was 39 and 3. 39 weeks, 3 days from memory. But Rio was 41. So by then it was like peak summer. She was born the 30th of January. So here it was like heat waves. It was like 38-degree days and stuff or higher. And yeah, we did not, like I was like ready for this baby to come when you're ready. But she was taking her time. And I was going to like the acupuncturist to have like the quick eject button done, but it didn't work. There was no quick eject this time around. She just took her time. I was like curb walking.
It was 2 days later, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. After the last time I saw the acupuncturist. But I'd seen him a couple of times, like towards the end there. I was seeing him quite a lot. And like at night time, it was still super hot, but we were like going for walks all around the area. And then like there's a weird staircase near our house, which sounds so strange to explain, but there is a weird staircase near our house. And I was like, I got to the point where I was like running up and down the staircase just to see if I could get the baby moving. But yeah, she was like just staying in there. And when she did finally, do you want to tell the story of the night that she did finally when we went into labour? Do you remember? It was a 38-degree day, super hot, and then the power went out.
The power went out.
Of course. The power had already gone out a couple of times. Yeah, power had gone out a couple of times that week. I don't know why, but it was like 8 p.m. Power goes out. We're trying to get the kids ready to go to, or get Navy ready to go to bed. And
decided to go for a walk.
Yeah, we decided to go for a walk.
A short walk.
Yeah.
to try to get reception because we couldn't.
That's right.
Because the phones wouldn't work here, so we had to try walk a bit further out to get reception. And then the walk turned out to be a really long walk.
Because, like, the tower is, like, down that way, the closest one. And, yeah. Then we were, like... So we saw everybody in their houses were, like, leaving. Everyone was getting in their cars and leaving because they could get in the air conditioning, I guess, and their houses were getting really hot. Probably everyone had their ovens on, too, from, like, cooking dinner or whatever. It was, like, just peak hot time. And, yeah, so everyone was, like, leaving in our area, and we go for a walk with Navy in the pram, and we'd just been trying to get her into bed, like, done bath time and stuff. Yeah, and so we went for the walk, super hot. And we walked down past a certain point, and I was like, oh, man, I don't think I can keep going. This is too much. And Navy was like, I want to be at home. I want to go home. And by then we could start to see people's power had come back on. And by that was probably like the half-hour mark or whatever of walking. And I was like, you guys go ahead and come back for me in the car. And Mario was like, I'm not just leaving you on the side here, because I was like I'd had like practice contractions for ages, like for the last 2 weeks, but I could definitely feel things like ramping up a bit more at that point at like 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock at night. I was like, yeah, I feel like it could be tonight. Maybe I was just wishful thinking, but I felt like it could be. So we called your parents, and we basically like cut in and out of reception, and they were like, what's going on? I'm pretty sure your mum was like, I'm ready to go. There's something happening. But it was just that we had no power, and we were just trying to let them know that we were like not sure if it would happen tonight or whatever, just to alert them to like come look after Navy, or Mario's sister only lives down the road. So somebody would have had to come and look after her. Yeah, like what else happened after that?
And we came home and the power went back on.
Yes, thank God. And we could cool down. I was so hot. I was like, at least I walked all the way. I made it. But by the last point, I was like, bleh.
Then, I don't think we called the midwife to give her a heads up. Just waited, and then I think your contractions got more intense, or you felt like it was moving along more.
At midnight it started. And then I was like, I timed them. So I don't even think we went to bed.
Was it midnight or was it 11?
No, it was at midnight. So literally started at bang on midnight. And then I kind of timed them, not like with an app or anything, but just looking at my watch. And at first they were about 15 minutes apart or something, but I only got one that like that or two. And then within probably one.
Probably should have looked into this before we started recording.
I know. But anyway, so the first contraction was like a 15-minute part, and I could definitely feel that that's what it was. And then it started to go to 10 minutes, and then it started to go to 8 minutes, and I only had like 1 or 2 of each. And by then it was like 12:30 or whatever. And in that time I'd been like, Mario, ring your mum, see if she's still awake. We'll get her to come over and look after Navy. And if not, then we'll call your sister. But she was fine. She was already like dressed, I think, ready, waiting by the phone in case we call. And by the time she got there, like that was it's probably a 20-minute drive. So it probably would have been about to the point where my contractions were already 5 minutes apart within that first half an hour or 40 minutes. They just went like, there was an alarm going somewhere. It is annoying me. Do you have an alarm going?
Probably. It was a 131.
It goes like blah, blah, blah. Anyway, so yeah, the timing of the contractions went so quick. It was like 15 minutes, 10 minutes, 10 minutes, 8 minutes, 8 minutes, 5 minutes, 5 minutes, and just went so fast. So that by the time Mario's mum came, she saw me like bouncing on the ball in the room, listening to my music. I'd had that playing for a bit, and I just had the same playlist that I'd made on Spotify with when Navy was coming, and listening to like meditation tracks and stuff like that. But yeah, I was sort of just bouncing on the ball, and I was going through the contractions. She came, and we just went straight away to the birth center. It by then had been like 1 hour since the contraction started. So we left about 1 o'clock. And then if for some reason, how did it take a whole hour to get there? Like it's a 50 minute drive, and there was no traffic because it was the middle of the night, but it was literally an hour in the car. I I had my headphones in for the meditation tracks. I had like eye mask on. I couldn't see or hear anything really, but it was, how did it take so long?
I don't think it took an hour. It took whatever time it normally is supposed to take.
Like 45 minutes. Yeah. Okay. But then I suppose I contracted getting in and out of the car. So that maybe was...
we ended up going down roads that had lots of speed bumps.
Oh, yeah, I do remember that. Right at the end. I remember being like in the zone, totally doing my hypnobirthing. And then I was like, oh my God, it's so uncomfortable to be in the car in labour, in contractions. Yeah, so that was definitely like not fun. And then I had like a contraction getting in and out of the car. Had another one when we got to the birth centre. There was like a chair sitting out the front, so luckily I could just sit down and rest a bit and have that contraction. And then we were inside. So Mara had called the midwife to let her know that we were leaving and it was time for her to go as well and that she would meet us. And then what happened when we got there? Anything of note?
We just went through the room and pushed the stuff down and just got into it.
Yeah. And they had it all set up with the birth pool and they were like, we can add more water or whatever.
I think they were still filling it up at the time because they weren't sure how long it was going to take us to go.
Yeah. Yeah. But they had it all set up so well. Like we'd had our preferences from when we were preparing for Navy's birth just on a sheet and I'd given my midwife that prior. And yeah, she had it all set up like the low lighting, I don't know what else there was. Can't even remember. It was just moody. And then you guys set up my playlist to keep playing in the room, which was great. And she even remembered like to take photos and videos and stuff, which was awesome. And Mario got to do a bit of that too. I think like the contractions already were like pretty intense for me. But I was actually this time it was easier in some ways because between the contractions surges, I could actually talk. And I did speak more this time, I think. I felt like I did.
A bit? You didn't say much?
No, I didn't say much. Like the first time with Navy, I was silent the whole time. But there was also no like in between with the surges. I just have the surges and I was getting so much pain. So I think she was posterior. And then you waving. Oh, hi. I think with Navy she was posterior, so there was no like real break between the surges. But this time around, I could feel the difference. Like there was really like a surge, an end to the surge, and then like a gap before the next one. I was like doing a mixture of swaying. I don't even remember squatting, and then like putting like what do you call it when you're kind of in a squat and you sort of sway your weight to one leg and then sway it to the other. I don't know if there's a term for that. But yeah, I was doing a bit of that. They were like, I think you're ready to go in the water, which actually in hindsight, I wish I'd done sooner because it was so nice. But the birth pool was set up and I contracted so many times in a row. And I remember being like, oh my gosh, baby girl, this is it. I can't do much more of this.
You said you couldn't do it anymore before you got in the water.
I don't feel like I could do any more, which is obviously the transition phase. And there were women in the rooms all around us. I think there was like 4 other women birthing. And from the get-go of us arriving, I could hear them like screaming and all of the labour sounds that you expect that you see on TV and whatnot. Every time I heard them, I actually was a bit worried that being somewhere with other people would bring me out of the hypnobirthing zone. But instead, I'd like tried to think of every time I heard someone vocalizing what I was feeling as like a way to dig deeper in mentally and go more internal. And so like I could be more in the zone rather than taken out of it, if that makes sense. So it was actually fine to hear all the women, and it felt like at least in a way I wasn't alone. So it was like, I hear you, like, I feel you, I know how you're feeling. It also made me feel really bad because some of those women were there for a long time, and they had not yet met their babies, but we did not take a long time. As soon as I got in the water, it was amazing. It felt so good. But she was out within seconds of me getting in the water. I literally got into the birth pool, went to like kneel down or squat down, and straight away I was like, I feel like it's coming. Like my body just took over, and she just like that natural ejection thing. I didn't have to like bear down really. I probably, the time that you would probably traditionally be told to like push had already been and gone, and I didn't. So my body just took over and pushed her out or bear down, and within seconds I looked down in the water and I was like, who put this baby in here? Like, I swear in my brain I was like,
prompt you twice.
oh yeah, I know. And I looked down and I was
Midwife
like,
have to said your baby was there, and then I had to tell you the baby was there for you
Yeah.
to grab it. And
No.
then you realised that the baby.
I know, because it was all so fast. Like, literally, I get in the water and I'm like, I think she's coming. And the next thing, I look down and I'm like, there's a baby in this water. Like, who put the baby in here? And then I was like, oh my God, it's mine. And they're like saying to me, pick her up, pick her up. But I was like in shock. Like, there's photos that one of the midwives took of me being like fully in shock. My face was like, like I'll show the photos because they're so funny. It's really embarrassing. Have you seen them?
Yeah.
They're horrible. Look terrible. But it was really funny. But yeah, I was so in shock for a few seconds of actually it being so quick, and that it was actually her, it was you.
Cleansing your whole body. And as you exhale, you breathe out.
No one had left a baby floating in the water. It was literally the weirdest feeling to feel like I just looked in that water when I stood in it. There was no baby, and now there's a baby floating in it. They let me have her in the water with me for a while. Like, it was like nearly an hour, and let me have the like cord still attached and everything for nearly an hour, which was really nice. The water was so nice. I can imagine if you were laboring in the water like that, it would just feel amazing. For the like pain relief and stuff. Obviously, I didn't have anything for pain relief except for, actually, no, I did. This time I had the TENS machine, and when I was having Navy, I also had the TENS machine, but we put it on too late apparently and not strong enough. I didn't realize how high the like levels of goes up, but this time around we put it on straight away, and I had it the entire time until I went into the water, and I had it up like much higher, and I just like kept pressing the surge button whenever I was having a contraction and I needed it. But that was really good, and I think that and the counter pressure, the hip counter pressure was like the best bit when I needed those things. But obviously we did not have any interventions or medicine or anything like that. It was all like a natural birth. It all happened really, really quick, and I think some of the other midwives like poked their heads into the room to see like what had happened, because they were obviously having really long, difficult labours in the other rooms, and ours was not like that at all. It was just very fast and obviously painful, but fine. Yeah, it's amazing what strength you can muster. I don't know. Mm-hmm. It's intense. It's still the most painful thing, but obviously it's all worth it, and yeah, managed. I feel proud still, and like I feel like it's very empowering to give birth. I mean, I forget that feeling, as I don't think I'm a very confident person, but
you make it seem easy when you do it.
Yeah, I think in terms of that, I should remind myself that I can do hard things more often, because as a person who's not very confident, as a person who's not very confident, I think when it comes to like for the things that kind of really matter, then I do have confidence and I can do stuff. So yeah, it's just a lesson probably to remind myself.
I think we were both really tired that night, maybe from the big hot walk that we went on.
Yeah, and just like every night we were doing hot walks for like 2 or 3 weeks, and I was also doing like yoga and whatever like moves that they suggest to help like get baby moving and stuff. I was doing like even strength training workouts in the dark, like at night time, trying to get things moving at home.
Just fighting to stay awake before we got discharged.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, I had a nap. So she was born at 3 a.m. You were awake. Yeah, you were holding her. So she was born at 3 a.m. And so it was a 3-hour labour total. which sounds so ridiculous. It sounds kind of mean. So it makes me wonder if I had another baby, if it would come within like an hour. But we're not doing that. It's not an experiment. I need to.
Still have to hold the baby for 9 months.
Yeah, that part's
I think that
no
gets any
good.
shorter.
Yeah, no thanks. We basically, I think the next question was, how long did you stay in the hospital for? Yes, that is the exact next question. We probably could have left much earlier, but I was so tired and I was like trying to fall asleep, and I had my whole little meltdown when I was crying because I was like so relieved and happy that she was born. But yeah, the placenta did not come straight out. Like with Navy, the placenta came straight out within seconds after having her. But then, yeah, they had to give me is it Pictocin? I think that's what it's called, to get the placenta to come out because I'd been in there for more than an hour or whatever and it still hadn't come out yet. So that was the only like drugs I ended up getting. It didn't have any tears, didn't have anything whatsoever. So the recovery was very easy, really. I laugh because I know how much other women go through for recovery, and I am grateful that is not the case for most people or a lot of people. So very grateful not to have any issues there. Yeah, basically, we basically kept our poor midwife up for longer than necessary because she couldn't leave until after we'd left. It's a poor girl. And I was like, I want my breakfast. They're actually staying at the birth centre. They brought in breakfast for both of us, which was really nice. Had some breakfast, and I think then by 9 o'clock in the morning, maybe, I think it was, because it was going to be another hot day and we didn't want to stay too long and let the car overheat or anything.
It was earlier because it was before peak hour.
Yeah.
I thought it was like 7 or something.
Essentially, with the midwife program, instead of you staying in the hospital for 5 days or whatever a lot of people do, you just go home and the midwives come and visit you for up to, I think, about 6 days or 10 days if you need it. And with us, we think we had them visit 3 times. And
Didn't have as many visits this time.
no. They're like, you guys are fine. And we're like, yeah, it's fine. We have our baby. What else are you going to do? But basically they just come and they, if you're a first-time parent, they teach you how to, like, wash the baby and give them a bath and stuff like that. Make sure that breastfeeding is working. But for us, we were fine. We didn't need education on anything. Breastfeeding was working fine. And, yeah, we just got discharged, I think, within 3 days of them. Yeah, of her being born. And that was it. And then we just went back into the hospital when we needed to for her hearing check because the hearing check wasn't done. And she was all good. So not much time at all. No recovery issues. Next question. What was the name inspiration? So Rio was the name that we had decided on for the next girl, and we found out that we were having a girl, and then we lost that baby. And as soon as we'd found out, we were like, it's Rio. So we had to call her that. And then we were tossing up between a couple other names, Sienna, which in hindsight I think would have been not right at all, and Violette, which we went through as the middle name, or Violet. But I kept hearing Violet mostly when we were out and about at the playground, or someone, a little kid would be like, my sister's name's Violet, and I just heard it a lot. And then I heard Sienna a bit too, and we wanted a name that was different. Obviously Navy is a pretty unique name for her older sister, and having something unique, I think, yeah, we wanted to keep something interesting like that and short. And the more that we looked at her, the more we were like, this is Rio, and maybe this is the baby that we were supposed to have, and she found the right body and came back to us. I don't know. It doesn't take away from the fact that when I think of that loss and what we lost, it makes me really sad still. But we went through a lot with that, and, I went to a therapist and you spoke to a therapist, and I think that really helped to process. Counsellor. Yeah. I think that really helped process. And, not to take anything away from that baby or the other loss, because we had like a chemical one in there as well. But that was the one that was about the 13-week mark, so we knew it was going to be a girl. Everything else had gone right for those tests, but so we thought this could be the Rio that we were meant to have, and so we named her Rio as well, maybe to honour her, and maybe because she was the right body, and this was our Rio, and it definitely suits her. And then Violette is basically the French way of saying violet, and your grandma Nonna, her name is
Yolanda.
Which in Italian,
The violet flower.
so basically Violet.
Just like an equivalent. 'Cause
Yeah.
Yolanda's doesn't really roll all the tongue for most people.
No. Violette. So Rio, Violette, Recchia. And then we've got Navy, Jeanette, Recchia. And Jeanette was my grandma's name. So we've got his Nonna's name in there as well. So that was kind of an homage to those ladies. What were we going to do? Were we going to do Raphael? What was the middle name going to be? Guido. After your grandpa.
No.
No. Sorry. But anyway, that's where all the names came from, and that's how we ended up with Rio, and it so suits her now. I love having names that people don't use often. Last question on here. How did you feel post-birth psychologically as the dad?
I think it's the same.
Not the same as what we went through with Navy, no. That's kind of what I said at the start. But how do you feel like? How do you feel like it is not the same, and it is? I feel like it's really nice. It was quite healing.
I think at the birth I could have that happy cry that people have at births, as opposed to being stressed out.
Yeah.
Like with Navy's birth.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't life or death this time.
I think it was just a bigger release as well, after the loss, and then finally having Rio. No, it's just been a challenge every day, having 2 kids and dealing with the different ways that they grow.
Baby. What? Baby!
Yeah, it's your baby sister.
Can I give Baby that apple?
Oh, she's not going to eat for a while. Yeah, she doesn't eat for a while. She just drinks mama's milk.
But Baby.
Not yet. Not yet, baby. We'll wait till when she's a little bit stronger, we will.
Okay, Navy, sit back.
Sit back. Hold baby's head. Is she beautiful?
She's touching you. Navy just has so much energy, and she's so fun, and she tests her boundaries so much. She's at daycare today while we film this, and she really pushes boundaries, and that is interesting. She loves her sister so much. Instead of being quite jealous of her, it's only 1 or 2 times that she's been like, "That's my toy," or she's hidden some of Rio's toys if she likes them.
Sharing is caring.
Sharing is caring.
As long as it's one way.
But she also says shiny is miney about anything. But yes, so she's, if anything, not super jealous, but she just kind of smothers her sister with love. So you have to watch them either way, because Navy will just come in hard and really squash her love into her sister, which is super cute. She's so sweet. She'll give her little kisses and stuff. And Rio thinks that Navy is the funniest person alive. She doesn't laugh for anybody else the way that she laughs for Navy.
She laughs at me.
She does, but not the same. She thinks Navy is so funny. To her, she is the funniest comedian on earth. It's really cute to watch them interact. And Rio's not quite she's 8 months now, and she's not quite crawling or anything. She kind of does a backwards slide shuffle, a scoot, sort of not quite a bum shuffle, but she she kind of basically crawls backwards. She has said mama was her first word. She says papa. I've heard her say navy, and she likes to wave and clap and high five
Roll.
and roll. And she... Yep. Yeah. She does not like driving in the car, especially at night time. She'll cry the entire drive, which is so fun. Yeah, she does not like that. She's definitely fed better than Navy. I think breastfeeding was much easier this time around. But this time around also, I, in hindsight, think that I didn't have enough milk with Navy first time around. And I just, like fed is best, they always say. But we got to about the six and a half month mark, and I was like, I still don't feel like I'm giving this kid enough. And we were starting solids by then as well, but we've decided to incorporate some formula in there too. So I still feed her, but then also top her up with formula or alternate. Yeah, her weight has always been like pretty good, but it just started to drop below like where the average percentile is. So I was like, now's a good time to just do a little bit as an extra to make sure she's getting enough. Just to think like what people go through to have babies is just, it's like remarkable. And it feels remarkable to have this baby, and I'm very, very lucky, and you're lucky. And she's just so fun. She's so joyful. We were in Singapore and everyone the whole time was, I have to put the picture of my dad up there with all those ladies. Hopefully that's okay. But there's this picture. We came around the corner and my dad had mostly been looking after Rio, pushing her in the pram. And he's sitting down and he's looking towards us in the camera, and obviously Rio's facing him. So you can just see the back of the pram. And next to them on this bench is just like 5 or 6 women. And they were all just like looking at Rio with these big smiles, all in a row. They're all like, and it was just so funny to come around the corner and see that. And it was so typical of our trip, because while we were over there, everywhere we went, we're just like, baby, 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 and just smiling. And she was just loving it because she loves people and she loves attention. And she's a very observant baby, and she loves like just looking at what's happening, and she definitely like observes a lot. But it was really, really cool to see people getting so excited over her. And then, yeah, it's always really fun. And you take her out to a cafe or something, and especially if you've been at home for a couple of days, she's like, she gets so excited. Yeah, that's about all we can say.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, thank you. And no more babies. So thank you for joining us on this journey. Anyway, that's enough. I'm rambling. Yes, you're keeping me grounded. Bye. Thank you for joining us.
Bye.
Pick up Rio. She's too cute.